Goodies for Black Girl Nerds.
Thank you, all of you, for your time on a Sunday to talk about this really cool series of films and what you all brought to it. It's like a cool tapestry, and everybody has their piece of it. Beginning with you, Darrell, your character. Sometimes we need a true, we need a true say. We need a real person, a ride or die. Is that a fair assessment of your character? What he brings to the team?
Oh, absolutely. I think Martin is. I think Martin is sort of a nice expression of like some of the Black experience in the sense that like we can get beaten down time and time again, but we will always show up for everybody and be there for everybody as much as we can. And it's a testament to just the how strong we are as a people. And I think he's a reflection of like he doesn't need to help anybody. He's sort of like nobody's really done anything too great for him, but he's still gonna be there for you. He's still gonna ride for you. So I really do enjoy tapping into that and showing people like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I told somebody earlier, like, we're heroes in real life. Like, let us be heroes on screen too.
For sure. All heroes don't wear capes, and Martin didn't wear
There
no
you
capes.
go.
So there it is.
There you go. There you
Ashley,
go.
for you, your character is kind of playing in the gray. We have to go through the whole journey to see the full evolution of who Officer Goode is. Is that a fun line for you to tread as a performer when you got this great horror backdrop, and we've got your character who's a police officer? Is that a fun place for you to play in?
Yeah, it's a real challenge in the best way possible, both from a narrative perspective to toe that line, but then also to jump into the mindset of that guy who lives in that world and lives that life and makes those decisions. That's it was an interesting experience.
Gillian, for your character, was very important to me because we learned so much once we got introduced to your character that kind of brought it together so we can advance the story as the vehicle for moving the story along. What do you think? What would you say is Ziggy's best qualities?
Oh, let's see. Well, she's resilient. She's much more brave than I am as a person. And she loves deeply, and she cares about others.
For sure. All right. Thank you guys so much for this. Can't wait for folks to see it so we can talk about it on the Twitters. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeandra.
So much.
Take care.
Thank you, everybody. I had such a good time with you. This was such a wild ride, a little nostalgia, a little modern twist, and you all created this beautiful web mosaic, depending on who you ask.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Starting with Olivia, what is the key to your piece of the puzzle? Not what your character is going to undergo, but how does she contribute to this big occurrence that's happening in this town of Shadyville?
Yeah. I think she it was interesting playing Sam because of all the rules and laws of the curse. It's inadvertently kind of on her shoulders why all of this is happening, and I think that's something that I think is a thing where it's almost like a lesson in like she's not being vulnerable and open and honest, and there's like kind of an instant karma that comes with that. And so I think that was something that I feel like she kind of infuses into the story and also the greater story as a whole when making the movies. But it was interesting playing the person that is the source of the curse, and then having that kind of ripple through all of the decisions that were made for her and stuff.
That's how sometimes it's good to be the catalyst that gets things in motion.
Yeah.
Fun. Benji, for you, we all need someone in our lives like you who just know the facts, who just know what to do, You know, while everybody else is chaotic and all over the place, your character really knows what's going on. Is there a satisfaction when you play a role where you kind of know what's up and you have to convince everybody else that you know what's going on?
I would be lying if I said no. Yeah, there is. No, but having the information that Josh has, is just trying to help the greater good for us. You know, I'm just trying to help as much as I can, and them bringing me along really is like, you know, I can have the information, but what is the information useful for if I'm not, you know, willing to step up and you know, fight the fight with them? So we all work together as a team, and they as I had the information, they sort of pulled it out of me, you know, because it could just be in my basement forever, and then what are we gonna solve? But you know, me tagging along with them and me really opening up really allowed us to, you know, beat this curse up quicker than expected.
For sure. And made you a fully realized person. And I love that.
Yes.
And Kiana, lastly for you, we go on this journey with you through all three of the films. When you look back at the total picture and how it all comes together, what are you most proud of in participating in this?
I'm most proud of the light that the whole story shines on systemic oppression and marginalized groups of people. And I'm so proud that our stories really show that no matter who you are, you can be the hero of your own narrative. You know, you can rise above your circumstances, and you are powerful, and you have everything inside of you to, you know, break the curse that someone may have told you is on you. You know, you can break generational curses. You have that power inside of you to do that. I love that our stories really shine a light on that.
I definitely did. I thank you all for your time. I enjoyed this tremendously. Right up my alley. Thank you so much again.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Take care. I'm so excited to talk to you because I love the method of peeling back the onion of a story in an extended form, knowing it and then working back to see how we got there. When you first tackled this project, these three films, what was your starting point, and what was your early goals for bringing all of these to life from the books?
Yeah, I think that it was obviously challenging to like look ahead and say, we've got 3 movies, we have to figure out how to do these. We knew that we wanted them to be connected. We knew this whole kind of thing. And there was this other question of, why are we doing this? Why are we revisiting the slasher genre? What does that mean? And that was the central question of like, why? The why of it. And that ended up coming from this idea of slasher movies that exist in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s are telling a very specific kind of formed and guided by white, straight, cisgender men. And so it felt like there was an opportunity to kind of be a little more equal opportunity and reflect the world that actually existed in those eras. And I felt like if we could kind of tell a narrative that was based around this idea of people that live in Shadyside that felt like they had been told for centuries that they were other, that they were not good enough, that they were just, this was the world that they lived in, there was no way out. I thought thematically we could start to tell a new type of story and still pay homage to those great slasher movies.
For sure. I mean, there were so many topics to tackle: classism, generational curses, you know, being under the thumb of cis white men. I mean, it was a lot of great topics to take in. And not only that, just the casting in itself, it gave me a more like a theater feel, because all of the characters aren't so matchy, you know, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
When you were casting for this, were those specifically your notes that I want my cast to reflect this and not just be, oh, they're obviously the same family because they all look exactly alike?
Yeah. No, I mean, it wasn't that. It was kind of like it was mostly being able to find the spirit of the characters that made sense and was true. That was the most important thing. And then kind of like what they physically looked like, it didn't, you know what I mean? That kind of like just like happy accident kind of like fell into place for the different families. And obviously like with Deena and Josh, there's a conversation of like, where's their mom? Who is their mom? Do they have the same mom? What is that like? And these were all conversations that we kind of had like offline about things, but it all trickled back to just kind of the talent of the kids and what made sense as far as the different pieces.
Mm-hmm. I must ask, as somebody who lives within the slasher horror genre, what is the key to the good fall, the chasing you and the fall, the choreographing that? Because it's really specific to slasher genre. It doesn't look like anything else.
No, it's so hard. And you really have to have a great actor that can kind of nail it in that way of like, we're so close. We're almost there, and then hit the moment. I don't know, it just takes a few takes before you get it in good coverage on either side.
And lastly, when adapting these stories from a book, what is the fine line from remembering the source material and making it palatable for a watching audience?
Yeah, I think that was kind of one of the main things that I thought a lot about, because I had read the books when I was a teenager in the 90s and I really loved them. I was a big fan. And so it was kind of scary jumping into the movies and feeling like, how do we find that line of what we want to do that is still being true to the spirit of the books and kind of, making sure that that's still lived and breathed in the movies, and then also bringing the movies to a new space that we could do things that didn't exist necessarily in the books. And so it was really about just kind of, I thought back about the things that I loved in them, about how there's always a spirit of fun. There's subversive kind of edgy quality of it, and just gut checking. So like, as we were kind of deciding how to shape the mythology and what we were doing with the Good family and the Fear family, which exists in the books, but in a very different way, just making sure that if I felt like, okay, I feel like I would be okay with this as a fan, then I felt like it was okay to put in the movies. And so that was really the bar that we were kind of like, trying to find.
Well, I thank you for your time. This was really great, and I enjoyed them all. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.